And so it's time for us to go. I'm just like, okay, well, this was really nice. And so he was like, so is it time for us to have intercourse now?
Ooh.
Or we want to have sex? Like, are we going to go back to my place? Or are we going back to yours? And so I had to have a love and hip hop Atlanta moment. I
Oh.
picked up my drink and I like threw it on him. And I was like, don't you ever disrespect me like that again. I don't think he was expecting it or whatever like that. And some women sitting there and they was like clapping for me, like, woo! They heard him. It was just really, it was gross. And I think that's probably the most recent craziest date that I ever had. I had to pour my drink on the man and storm out. I was so scared walking back to my car. I was like, he's gonna chase me out. It was pitch dark, in the courtyard. I was just like, I should have went home when I.
Oh my.
Yeah. So craziest date I ever been on. I had to throw my drink on the man, on a doctor.
Okay. Hey everybody, it's your girl DJ with Plan for Keys podcast, and today I have a special guest, JChanel. How are you today?
Hey, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good, pretty good. So you are here for Dating Chronicles, where you give a funny, crazy, or lesson learned dating story. What do you have for us today?
Yes. So I met this guy on Hinge.
Okay.
He was not my type, but he was a doctor. He was a doctor. I feel like I don't need to say nothing else about that. But he lived in Dallas. He would call me at weird times and we would talk for a little bit. The conversation was weird, but I was in a space where I was dating a bunch of people. So
okay.
It's cool. And this is a doctor. This is cool. He should be normal. And so he was also, he was Nigerian. So, I don't know if anybody know about the African dude.
I do, but we're going
yeah.
we gonna save that.
So, I'm just kind of okay, this is weird, but we're going to meet in person. He's going to come to Atlanta, whatever. So, anywho, he ends up coming to Atlanta. And he's like, I want to take you out. He wants to take me to this sushi place. I cannot think of the name of the sushi place right now. A really good place, though, in the Virginia Highlands.
Okay.
And he's about an hour and a half late. Now, I was on the phone with my sister the whole time, talking to her. I'm just really trying to be because I've been picky in the past. I'm really trying to be open. I'm he a doctor. I'm gonna wait for him. He not communicating either. He texted me I'm so sorry, and I've been late. I've been 2 hours late to a date before. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he finally gets there. I've been sitting outside waiting on him. We sit. I eat. I'll order some sushi. I don't know why I'm like this, but I'm okay, I don't want to spend too much of his money, so I don't think
I'm still like
there.
that too, yeah.
So
I get out there.
Keep this at a minimum. I order a drink, I order some sushi. We sit there, and I'm trying to talk to him, but I'm talking more to the couple that's beside. It was just weird. He just had this weird grin on his face. And so, anywho, we're summing up the date. He gets the check or whatever like that. And mind you, we had no real just knee thumping conversation. He just mostly been yeah, like that. And so it's time for us to go. I'm just okay, well, this was really nice. And so he was like, so is it time for us to have intercourse now?
Ooh.
Or we want to have sex? Are we going to go back to my place? Or are we going back to yours? And so I had to have a love and hip hop Atlanta moment. I picked up my drink and I threw it on him. And I was like, don't you ever disrespect me like that again. I don't think he was expecting it or whatever like that. And some women sitting there and they was clapping for me, woo! They heard him. It was just really, it was gross. And I think that's probably the most recent craziest date that I ever had. I had to pour my drink on the man and storm out. I was so scared walking back to my car. I was he's gonna chase me out. It was pitch dark, in the courtyard. I was just I should have went home when I.
Oh my.
Yeah. So craziest date I ever been on. I had to throw my drink on the man, on a doctor.
Okay, because there was a couple red flags I picked up on while you was telling me the story. When you think about it now, as we laugh, because I know it wasn't fun then, tell me some red flags.
Well, him being late. Well, no, that's not the first red flag. The first red flag was him calling me every week or so, and it was I was doing most of the talking, and I'm dang, he a doctor, we had these kind of he should be smart,
yeah,
he should be interesting. No. He wasn't interested at all. Really wasn't that interested. And then on top of that, he was late. So to me, that was the first two red flags. And the second red flag was that he didn't really order anything to eat. So I'm like, okay, well, I got my food, and he didn't really get anything. So, because at the sushi bar, it can get kind of expensive. You order like piece. You kind of order like piece by piece.
But he a doctor though.
I hope he wasn't lying on Hinge. I mean, I don't know. That could have been a lie.
Because did you find out what doctor he was? Did he talk about it?
He said he was a chiropractor.
Did he talk about his work at all?
No. I didn't ask about it though too because I mean. I don't know. Maybe that was just a bad self-image I had of myself at that time. But at the time, I'm like, I'm a flight attendant. Like, he a doctor. What I'm gonna say to him, like, about his occupation. You know, I know culturally, people from Nigeria are usually like lawyers, doctors, engineers. Not all of them, but I know
a good bit of them.
So
that is a thing.
Okay, he had pictures of himself, his family. Never seen a picture of him in a white coat. But I just didn't want to be like, so you a doctor, tell me about it. Because, I didn't want him to think like, oh, she trying to bag me because she think I got money because I'm a doctor. Doctors be broke, y'all.
But doctors do be broke because of like financial aid, all that stuff, debt.
Yes.
But at the same time, though, you were giving him passes because he was a doctor.
I was.
So what have you learned just in that snippet of you did not want to look like you were interested in him because he was a doctor, but undercover, you was letting him pass.
Like, yes. We made it. But yeah, so definitely don't want to look at anybody, especially after the pandemic, based off like their occupation, because definitely on online, like people lie
all the time.
Oh my goodness. And it's just, it's not indicative of their financial habits or their character.
Yeah.
I just was not expecting that. We had so many conversations. Well, we had three. We had three conversations, but they were like hours long. I was doing most of the talking. But like he never mentioned anything like sexual. So I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, so that probably
guy.
Oh wow. Girl. So what was the conversation? Like what did you learn about him? Like and did you got what did you learn about him?
Basic stuff, that he was dating just like I was, that he was living back and forth from Dallas and here, that he was Nigerian American, but he was like very deeply ingrained in his culture, that he thought I was cute. Like just, like what he did that day, he was like, oh, I went to work, but I was mostly talking.
That was like you said hours and hours of.
Yeah, like literally, I think the longest conversation that we had was like 3 hours.
Oh wow.
It was, I was just like, I'm a mom. It's kind of been hard for me to date, but just mostly talking about myself. Like,
got you. Now, what? Because I know you say that's your most recent. When you talk about like what you did a lot of talking and stuff like that, this, that, and the third. How do you maneuver conversations now?
Girl, I ask questions. I get on TikTok. If I can't think of nothing deep, I ask specific questions, like deep questions, like what's something you could have did better in your last relationship? You know what I'm saying? What do you think about the current events and the current state of America? Like I ask specific questions, and it may seem corny. But it's been really weeding out some things.
I bet. Because a lot of people don't do that.
No. I like to talk. I'm a conversationalist. I like to get to know people. But, for some people, I think it's harder the conventional way to open up. So I just make it awkward and be like, okay, so what's 3 things you noticed about me when you first met me? Like, and I expect an answer. So that's what's going on with my new guy. So it's been cool.
Got you. Okay. So that's what's going on with your new guy. You said you... Okay, so to break the... Now let me ask you this. Because I know you said you talked a lot with the last guy for long periods of time. And that's why you thought it was all good. But then, like you said, you talked mostly through most of it as you thought back on it. Would you say you're the type of person that don't like dead silence like some of the time? Or you don't let a person think of their own stuff to ask you and come up with? Does that make you uncomfortable?
In the past.
Okay.
Definitely was like making up scenarios and like making people conversationalists in my head or a little delulu. But now like I embrace like the silence because I know me personally, I do like to be left alone if I don't like somebody. If I like somebody, I want to talk to them. I want to know more about them. And so if they not talking or they giving me the cold shoulder, now at my big age of 31, then I'm just gonna remove myself because, like, obviously you're not interested. You know, I know exactly what interest looks like and what it sounds like at this point. So.
How did you get to that? Because I know that was kind of a struggle for me. How did you get to that for you? Like, not like, because dead silence for me used to be super awkward, and I would try to fill in those dead silences, or I would push for things and push for a relationship. One, because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. And then, so I couldn't tell what disinterest looked like because I thought interest was, I just need to try a little bit hard.
Well, I am a naturally outgoing personality, so I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to ask weird questions just like my person. Mm-hmm. But also therapy. I didn't realize I had so much like daddy issues and trauma and like trying to force people to like, you know, fool with me, more specifically men to fool with me. So therapy, and shout out to all of the information that I got on social media, all the life coaches and some of the podcasts, you know, like that's information that I didn't have access to before and stuff that I just wasn't aware. I wasn't self-aware, you know, so after therapy. So yeah, shout out to all of that, you know, and time and experience and getting dog walk. By his men.
I hear you.
Yeah, so now I'm not perfect, but definitely moving, you know, getting a little momentum in the dating sphere. So.
Yes, girl. So would you say it sounds like you are in agreement of not dating just one person and putting your eggs in one basket? I know you're talking to somebody, so we're gonna tread very.
Okay, good. Single.
Okay, good. Okay.
So, like I said, still working through it. It's very hard for me to like multiple people. Like
it's hard for me too.
I'd be like, you, that one. You know, I'm very much like a fantasize-y type. I romanticize things.
Yeah.
So I just make an agreement with myself and remind myself constantly that this is not my boyfriend. They have not committed to me, and if that's what they wanted to, I've never been in an experience with a guy where he wanted something, he didn't make it happen. So it's really just like self-talks, like, girl, you're not in a relationship. You single. This is what's appropriate. You know, this is what's not appropriate. Like, and I've been working it like that. So
got you. Okay. Let me ask you this, because you say you're a conversationalist and you're on social media. You're seeing like the trends, the life coaching and stuff. Are you aware of like the masculine and feminine energy that they talk about all the time?
Yeah.
Are you in agreement with that?
No. I think that is a lot of harmful propaganda. It's not black and white.
I was just finna, and because I seen another coach say this about it. She was saying that she feels like the masculine and feminine energy stuff is actually misogyny masked and trying to get women to kind of die down. Would you agree with that? I'm on the fence about it because I feel like it's helped me not be such a doer. Like as far as like the example I gave you, like trying to control the conversation of the relationship, and that the learning about that stuff has helped me in a lot of ways. But then you got people now saying that they feel that it's misogynistic. What do you think when you think on it?
I think there is some stratagem to it, depending on who is using it. If it's, you know, rest in peace, dog. But if it's some of Kevin Samuel's sons, like them talking like that,
oh yeah,
to me, I'm gonna say misogyny war because I'm black and I care about things that are black. But yeah, I do think there is an aspect of it. But like I said, it's such a large, wide, broad spectrum. I can see how some of those feminine strategies and the feminine energy does work. Men are simple, you know, they like simple things.
Yeah.
But if, like me, I grew up in a tribe of women, you know, did a lot of masculine things. You know, all I know is go to work, provide for my family, and don't be looking for no man to help. So it's very hard for me to come into contact with a man that is a provider and that does know his role, you know, as a man.
Why would you say it's hard for you?
Child, I ain't never seen it. It's not something that's been repetitiously. I haven't been conditioned for men like that. Like I feel like that's like a process from like very young and up.
Yeah,
you know.
But do you feel like when you come across these men, you turn them off because you are quote unquote too masculine? Do you think that could be the case, or I know things I used to run into was more so I'm doing the most thinking I'm this great woman, but in actuality, and they do think you're a great woman, but in actuality, they take, and some of them do take advantage, right? Yeah. A lot of them do. But then in actuality, they take what you gave them and they're just looking for somebody who's just a little bit more simpler.
Yes.
Because they...
I will say I have turned off, I hate to say this because these wasn't no good men. These wasn't no good men. But I have turned men off that I've been with in the past being too, like, making them feel like a little incompetent. It wasn't on purpose. I just, I'm being myself. This is how I was raised. Yeah. I'm making sure we straight, not knowing that it was, challenging their manhood or masculinity. I do think that's a little weak-minded.
I think so, too.
But... like I said, pick and choose. Pick pieces of the strategy. If a man is in his masculine energy, if we want to use that terminology, and he's providing for me and making me feel secure, I'm naturally turning into a marshmallow. Like, naturally. And he'll have, if he likes me, he'll have the patience with me to be like, hey, I don't think you should be doing that. I'd rather do it this way. And we can have a conversation about it and work together as a team, which is how it's supposed to be. Have
you had issues like bringing down your walls in to be that, or no, just the men that have always kind of been around you just have always just not been able to meet those expectations?
Well, I definitely used to be a person that wore their heart on their sleeve. I think it's better to be selective and guarded. People need to earn your vulnerability. You can't, unfortunately, men are predators, and they're transactional. You can't just be vulnerable with them, Yeah. It's actually a study somewhere that shows that, like, a man is more likely to pick a woman that's mean to him and that's more of a challenge than a woman that's just, kneeling down and relinquishing herself to him. Yeah. So, can't quote the source, but...
I think I've heard that, too.
Yes.
I think I've heard that, too. Probably from her.
So... it's hard because, I've had a lot of trauma. I'm fearless. I'm willing to be open, and I want people to see my my vulnerability, so it makes them want to be vulnerable. But that's not everybody's reaction. And so, I have to be selective. I have to be like, oh no, I literally have to be like, okay, it's been a month. We can kiss. Like, or okay, it's okay to tell them something about my childhood that's private to me. It's been a couple months, you know what I'm saying? Like, I literally have to have a conversation with myself because otherwise.
What if you start dating a man that asks questions like that off the gate?
Oh, want to love bomb me?
Or just ask questions, or not love bomb per se, but ask questions out the gate as far as like, childhood dynamics, like maybe. Like who raised you and stuff like that. Because maybe they are watching the same things you're watching and they're trying to grow. There can be that. I know some people be like, that's suspect.
Right. I want to know everything about you so I can control
you. I don't agree with wanting to know everything about you first date. That's wild. But like, if they ask certain questions just to kind of just get a feel for like who this person is, would you still would consider that love bombing? Because you said it takes 2 months for somebody to... Do you feel like you might be a little too guarded now because of what's happened?
I dated this monster. He was a Leo. That just moved. He married now, so I'm going to protect his name.
Okay.
But he was a monster. I was just so crazy about him. He just was asking me all the right questions, wanted to know everything. Just my therapist, really. Yeah. And he was doing it to leverage that stuff against me. He was a sociopath, psychopath, whatever.
So narcissist.
Like, yes. And after that experience, like, he just hurt me so bad. It was so uncalled for. But I realized how fast we moved, how he was just invasive. He wanted my location. Like,
oh, now that's crazy.
I mean, people do that, but I'm not, because of him, will not be doing that with anybody but my husband.
Yeah.
Whenever he comes. But yeah, like, so you just can't. Some people really are villains, like, and he didn't see it that way.
They never do.
He was the victim, like, but I'm just like, nah, you took all of my weaknesses, my fatherless home, my mommy issue, anything you could. Me being a single mother, I always complain about that. It's hard to date that way. And he just used it to hurt me, like, in some kind of way. Like,
wow. Okay.
And so, yeah, nah.
So, I know you say you kind of dating now. What steps are you taking to make sure you're not moving too fast?
It's them self-talks, because otherwise...
Got you. You did say that.
I'm a Pisces. Like, I love people from the rip. So, like, just self-talks, I have to remind myself, you know, because I feel like I'm healing from other stuff from the past. And so I have to remind myself, like, hey, this happened. This is familiar. You know, you think this, you know, I really have to vet people better.
Got you.
Yeah, so...
So I'm going to ask you a few questions. My first one is, what is the craziest thing you have ever done for love?
I did a lot of crazy stuff for love. Shoot. I let someone embarrass me and talk bad about me behind my back and cheat on me with my friends.
Oh my God. So
cheating was not a deal breaker for me.
At the time, or is it still not? Because I know somebody asked me the same question, and I think I came back and said I would need to know like the full context of like everything, like as far as like, and then evaluate where we are and probably why. That's just me though, especially if we're like 10 years in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now if we like 6 months in and you fucking on my friends, but now if you fucking on my friends though, that's a wrap though. Nah, that's a wrap.
I think that's the craziest. Put my physical health in danger for trash men, because I wanted them to know that I accepted them for who they were, face value, because I just had this crazy notion in my head, childhood trauma, that no matter what the condition is, I'm gonna love you and accept you for who you are, and that was proven that my love was deep and it was strong. So
I think that's embedded in our culture in a weird way. The ride or die culture. So there's a lot of women who go through that, whether they admit it or not. Yeah, the ride or die culture is a real thing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what is your favorite non-sexual act of intimacy? Non-sexual.
Girl. Feeding me, like being concerned that like I know that seems simple. But just making sure I eat, like, you know.
That's cute.
Yeah, feeding me.
Okay. What do you need to improve, learn, or stop doing to be successful in a relationship?
I think I need to stop being so hard on myself about being a parent. It's people that do care about it now. It's some little people that be discriminating, but they made the people for me. I think I'm really hard on myself about being a single mother and trying to date.
Why?
The internet, you don't see what they be saying.
Like, but what is your core? Like, what do you fight about within yourself about it?
I feel like to be in a relationship with someone that is not your kid's father, like, requires like a certain amount of selfishness, because you have to have time to date that person, get to know them. I'm not just bringing them in and bringing them around my kid. You know, my kid. I have two. Sorry, my kids. And so that, and just the shame of it all, it's such a bad thing to have kids and not be married. It just seems really like I'm wearing a big red A on the internet. I just don't want to date people with kids. I don't know.
Oh, that is a thing that's kind of going on right now.
Yeah,
that is a thing.
I think it's here to stay.
It depends, because everybody have their preferences, right? But there's plenty of people. There's plenty of men out here too that will date women with kids that are good men. I know a lot of people that are good men. So just focus on the ones that want you. I think that's what I've learned. Like, even like you'll see on the internet too how black men are talking about going overseas now to date other women and stuff. And it's like, yeah, bye, do you? You know what I'm saying? You don't like me like that? That's cool. Yeah. And I think it goes the same with those people. Yeah, you can't work.
I think it's an Atlanta thing, too. I just want to add this, because maybe somebody out there will receive it. Like, I'm from L.A. originally, and it's a lot of baby mama, baby daddy culture in L.A. It's a lot of blended families. That's very normal there. Yeah. So to be in a place like Atlanta, you know, where it's a lot more education and, you know, black-owned businesses and just... You know, I don't know. It's different. Yeah. It's just not the same. People just like, I want to get married and have a big fence. I own a house, you know, and have one mother of my kids, like, you know, versus like where I come from. So,
are you
in LA?
Are you only using Hinge?
I had to get out. Tinder is for hookups, and Black is for hookups, and Bumble is not what they make it out to be.
It really ain't. I don't like Bumble.
But so yes, Hinge, and I actually deleted the app recently off my phone.
Really?
Yes.
Girl. Okay, we're gonna move on. I was just gonna say something, but we go. Let me ask you this: what is your idea of love? Like when you really think about love for yourself, what do you envision it to be like?
I think love is acceptance. Um, I just want somebody to make a choice to accept me and my conditions, and I do the same, and we work as a team from there, building on top of each other. I didn't have to make a sound effect, but
I like that though.
Building.
Cool.
That is what love is to me. It's not this whimsical, like, oh, I'm in love and everything's great. I want to talk to them all the time. Like, no, stuff, life get real. Like, it's real life stuff going on.
Got you.
Yeah.
How have you changed your version of acceptance from the past to now?
Well, it's conditions, There's got to be boundaries. I never had boundaries before with any guy that I was with. And so, boundaries. I am not okay with certain stuff, and that is okay. And, those are my standards. And so, boundaries.
Got you. Okay. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about dating?
Yeah, it's been rough.
It's been rough?
It's been rough. I guess my first thing is just, let me be positive. It's just keeping an open mind and keeping my options open and being intentional.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
The numbers game is so hard to play, but you do have to play it in order to be successful. Child. You have to play it. You can't put your eggs on. It sounds like you found somebody, though, to a certain degree.
We don't see it.
We talking. Well, I'm going to be positive for you. Okay.
We don't see it.
Okay, my last question, which we've been kind of talking about on and off, because you said you come from a single family household and having to be strong and all that stuff. How do you feel about the soft life?
Man, that's a myth. I'm really tired of it. I think it's a myth, and it's an online aesthetic that is being sold, but it's not like innately in us.
Yeah.
Like, we are mammals. Everything's not soft. Some people do have a lifestyle that's like that, and it appears like that, but they still go through real life adversity. Everything is not soft. So I think it's just another one of those online aesthetics that's being sold.
Yeah.
And, being soft is revolving.
Go into detail about being soft is revolving.
It's not like, princess treatment, and my boyfriend drives me everywhere, and I don't pay for anything, and I'm just pretty, and I'm clean, and I smell good, and I spend hours on my skincare and all that. Like, people work. People got kids. People have mental illness. The economy's crazy right now.
Absolutely.
Like, I just feel like, influencers need to be careful pushing that aesthetic because, it's just not innately in some people to be soft.
That, and then like you said, the soft life is hard with everything going.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I do think that is beautiful. Those women who are getting married and those men making them, stay at home moms, stay at home wives. That's beautiful. That's not going to be everybody's life. Everybody's not going to get an engineer or a six-figure man or whatever high-value man that's going to come in and sweep them away, and just make their life soft. That's not realistic.
Hell, 6 figures ain't really even enough now if you're in the low 6 figures, but we'll talk about that for another podcast. Yeah. But the soft life for you. So you clearly don't agree with the soft life that they are advertised on social media. Mm-hmm. If you were to think about a soft life version for yourself, what would the soft life look like for you within a relationship and all of that stuff?
Just handle me with care. Like, be considerate of me. I don't mind getting my hands dirty with you. Depending on what it is now, I ain't pumping no gas. But I can drive sometimes. That's okay. That's not synonymous with being a man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would love to be a passenger. Yes, I saw a video of this girl never taking the keys. I said I would love to know how the fuck that feels like.
I think that is circumstantial, and I think that there is a man out there that can provide that to you. But for 100%, no. We know everything is statistics.
Yeah.
Some men grew up in a home where it's all men. And they might, have a rougher aesthetic for women and not understand, maybe I should make things easy for her.
I feel like if you were able to communicate in a relationship, though, we could change those statistics.
I need things that are deeper than me never driving from a man. You know, I need him to come in and accept my kids and not, you know what I'm saying? Or I need him to come in and know that I want him to do the yard or take the trash out.
So that is a soft life for you. Those things.
Yeah. I mean, of course I want all my bills paid. But if I don't get somebody that can pay all the bills, but he presents other things to me that I feel are valuable, I don't want to go 50-50. But I'm open to paying some utilities while you pay the rent, you know, or the car note or whatever, you know.
I'd be on the fence about that conversation because I don't know because I guess because like me personally I'm a single mother too, you know what I'm saying, and I pay everything.
Girl, so my whole life.
Yeah, right. So I feel like if a guy comes in, I mean if we split 50-50, to me I was like that's okay for me, but I know everybody thinks differently and all of that stuff. And I know I might get...
just taking something up off me feel like...
To me, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Take a good load off me. But I know I gotten chewed out in the past for my ideology and being too easy and all of that stuff. But that's a different topic for another day. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. If you wanted to have anybody just shout you out, you know, a guy see you on the podcast, where would they be able to find you? You got Instagram link? You got what you got going on?
Well, fellas. Ladies. Mostly fellas. I'm not really on social media. I'm on TikTok _coloration. You can slide in my DMs there. And I have business pages on Instagram. So, not to plug too much, but my business page is Statement Peace, spelled MEANTPEACE. So like mint and peace. And then my hair page is hair.confetti_. So hit me up. I don't bite.
That's what's up. Tell the audience what you do real quick with your business.
So I'm an event planner and coordinator and a balloon garland stylist. So that's Statement Piece. I do a little side hustling. I braid. I do hair. And my actual occupation is I'm a federal contractor. And I cannot shout out my business because you got to have a security clearance for that.
All right. Well, JChanel, I want to thank you for making time to come on the show.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Awesome. And I want to thank all the listeners and viewers. And until next time.